Name is Rob Kampia. Rob is the co-founder, executive director of MPP, a high school valedictorian and straight-A student. Am I really supposed to say that? Okay, I'm sorry. He served 3 months in prison for growing his own marijuana for personal use at Penn State University. He was elected student body president for 2 years. Upon graduating with honors from Penn State in '93 with a degree in engineering science and minor in English, he moved to Washington, D.C. for the purpose of ending the government's war on marijuana users. He co-founded the MPP in 1995. Within 2 years, MPP established itself as the leading organization on Capitol Hill to call for the repeal of marijuana prohibition. Rob has testified before legislative committees in California, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Nevada, Ohio, Vermont, Washington State, and the U.S. House of Representatives. He's debated the marijuana issue on national TV dozens of times against then White House Deputy Drug Czar Andrea Barthwell, isn't it? Barthwell. And then Congressman Bob Barr. Rob helped author most of the medical marijuana laws that are now on the books in 14 states. Let's welcome Rob Kampia.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for that introduction that I think I wrote for myself. But the old joke at Penn State when I was arrested and spent 3 months in jail was that Penn State turned into the state pen for Rob Kampia. But I tried to make the best of it. I also want to give kudos to Mason, who's done an amazing job in Colorado over the last 5 years. He's done an amazing amount of work for very little money. What were you going to say?
MPP's support.
Oh, all right. This is actually very exciting. As I was telling Michael during the break, I don't really know how many times there's been in the history, or at least in the 20 years I've been working on this issue, where there's been this many people aligned on the marijuana issue in the same room at the same time in a professional setting who are trying to get something important done. So I want to actually give a round of applause to you for being here tonight. It's really great to be here. So just real quick with the Marijuana Policy Project, which I co-founded 15 years ago, it's the largest organization in the country that's working solely to end the prohibition of marijuana, not just for medical purposes, but for all purposes. We have 28 full-time employees, we have offices in 5 states, we have lobbyists in 8 state capitals, and we have passed laws, medical marijuana laws in Hawaii, Montana, Vermont, Rhode Island. We wrote the law that was recently passed in Maine, although we didn't actually do the whole campaign. And we also did the initiative in Michigan recently, and we also decriminalized marijuana in Massachusetts. So we've actually had quite a run in the last few years, and I see a very bright future, not only for MPP, but for this entire movement across the entire country. Briefly, in terms of things that are specific to you all who are here in Colorado, I was one of the 6 people who co-authored the initiative that passed in 1998. When we were drafting it in 1997, it was actually the model for the initiatives that passed in Colorado first, and then Oregon, sort of Washington, Alaska. When we were drafting it, we were getting attacked by some allies who were saying that we weren't drafting it to be radical enough. And as it turns out, it ended up being interpreted to be a little bit more radical than what we were intending, because we'd actually been drafted as protecting dispensaries, but we were very pleased to see years later that the courts, through the good work of Brian at Sensible Colorado and others, that the courts have interpreted it as protecting dispensaries. And so this law has actually worked better than we or our critical allies thought back in 1997 and 1998. So it's been really great to see this happen. Also, one other thing that we did recently is that we worked to get all the Democratic presidential candidates a year and a half ago to endorse ending the DEA's raids on medical marijuana in states where it's legal. And then through some working with some folks that we know in the White House, we were actually able to then, with a lobbying firm in D.C., help craft that Justice Department memo that was released in October, which, as I'm sure you all know, made a huge difference. So I thought real quick I would just touch on three things. One is what we're doing in various states to change their laws. I want to give my perspective on how Colorado's current law compares to other states. And then also I want to talk about this sheet that was passed out to about the front half of the crowd. It's the title. It says MPP's federal level efforts, blah, 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 this sheet I want to touch on. I didn't think there was going to be this many people here. I had 200 sheets. I was expecting a crowd of 100 or 150. It looks like there's 600 people. So my apologies. And if any of you in the back who do not have a copy of this want to get a copy of it, please give me your business card or whatever information afterwards. Real quick, we are making progress on passing new medical marijuana laws in a whole host of states. So for those of you who are interested in getting involved either directly or indirectly with dispensary operations in other states, here's the sneak preview. New York State, we are probably 1 month away from legalizing medical marijuana with dispensaries. We've been working on that for 6 years. We have the support of the governor, and we passed it through the state assembly. We have the support in the Senate, and it's just a matter of doing some budget stuff to get it all the way through. Illinois, we passed the medical marijuana bill through the Senate. We probably have the support of the governor. We're 3 votes short in the Illinois House, and we're lobbying between now and November to get a majority. And if we do that, there will be medical marijuana dispensaries across the state of Illinois. Delaware, we are probably going to pass to the Senate this year and no further. Next year we'll go all the way, and then there will be medical marijuana dispensaries in Delaware starting 1 year from now. New Hampshire, we did pass our bill all the way through the legislature. It got vetoed by a very hostile and rude governor, not to mention deceptive governor. But he's taken so much heat on his veto of our bill that we think we have a shot at passing it this coming year. And if I'm right, that means dispensaries, probably a small number, 3 or 5 or 6 dispensaries, will become legal in New Hampshire 1 year from now. Minnesota, we passed our bill